There comes a moment in every man's life when the world looks at him and decides he's finished. People see your failures, your brokenness, your pain, and they write your story before you ever get the chance to. They say, he won't recover from this, he's done. His life is over. And what's worse is that sometimes you start to believe them. You begin to look in the mirror, and the reflection staring back at you feels like a stranger, a man you no longer recognize. Your confidence is shattered, your hope buried, and your will feels like it has been drained out of you. But let me tell you something. Just because the world thinks you're finished, doesn't mean you are. Just because they can't see the fire still burning inside you doesn't mean it's not there. That silence, that loneliness, that pain, it isn't the end of you. It's the beginning. You see, when people walk away from you, when they laugh at your downfall, when they whisper about your failures behind closed doors, what they don't realize is this: a man is never more dangerous than when he has been counted out. Because when the world stops believing in you, you learn to believe in yourself. When no one gives you a chance, you carve your own path. And when the weight of failure crushes you to the ground, you discover that the ground is not your grave. It is your foundation. Think about it. Every great man you've ever admired, whether he was a leader, a warrior, an inventor, or a dreamer, he was once dismissed, laughed at, rejected, labeled as finished. And yet, in that quiet place of solitude, they made a choice to rise, to refuse to stay down, to build again when nothing was left. And that's what this speech is about. It's not about avoiding failure. It's not about living a life where you never fall. It's about what you do when you're at your lowest, when everyone has turned their back on you, when the world is convinced your story is over. I want you to imagine for a moment. Imagine the man who has lost everything. His career crumbled, the people he trusted betrayed him, the woman he loved left him, and the friends he thought would stay by his side disappeared the second the storm arrived. He's left standing alone. No applause, no cheering, just silence. Maybe that man is you right now. Maybe you know what it feels like to be left with nothing but the weight of your own breath. And in that moment, you've got two choices. You can accept what they say, that you're done, that you'll never rise again, or you can ignite something inside yourself that they could never predict. You can decide that this is not the ending. It is the moment everything begins. Because life will test you. It will push you so far down that even you'll question if you'll ever get back up. But here's the secret: rock bottom is solid ground. Rock bottom is where you stop pretending, stop faking strength, and stop living by other people's expectations. Rock bottom is where real men are built. When the world thinks you're finished, it gives you a gift: silence, no noise, no distractions, no applause, no fake love. And in that silence, you find yourself. You realize that everything you truly need has always been inside you: discipline, grit, hunger, and the will to fight again. Don't misunderstand me. Rising again isn't easy. It's painful, it's slow, it's lonely, and it will cost you pieces of yourself that you'll never get back. But that's exactly why it's worth it, because the man who rises after being broken is not the same man he was before. He is sharper, stronger, wiser, untouchable. You want to know why the world laughs when you're down? Because they think pain destroys you. But they've forgotten one thing: pain also transforms you. That fire that burns everything you thought you were. It clears the way for everything you're meant to become. So when they say you're finished, don't argue. Don't beg. Don't try to prove yourself with words. Just rise in silence. Train in the dark. Work when no one is watching. Heal in solitude. And then, when the time is right, step back into the light. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Because the truth is, the most powerful men are born in the shadows of defeat. They rise not because the world believes in them, but because they believe in themselves when no one else does. And maybe right now, you're listening to this, sitting in your room late at night, with tears in your eyes, thinking about how much you've lost. Maybe you're exhausted from fighting battles nobody even knows about. Maybe you're so close to giving up that even breathing feels heavy. If that's you, this is not the end. This is your moment. This is the silence before your rise. The world thinks you're finished. Good. Let them think it. Because when you rise, and you will rise, they won't know what to do with the man you've become. When the world thinks you're finished, they don't just whisper it behind closed doors. They look you in the eyes with pity, as if they've already written your obituary. They wait for your collapse, not because they truly hate you, but because deep down, your struggle reminds them of their own weakness. Your pain exposes the battles they never fought, the dreams they abandoned, the demons they chose to feed instead of defeat, and so they label you done. Not because you are, but because it's easier for them to bury you in their words than to face their own reflection. But here's the truth, you are not finished. You are in the forge. And fire doesn't destroy, it refines. There comes a point in every man's life when the weight of his failures feels unbearable. You wake up and the silence feels heavy, like the walls are pressing in. People you once called friends are gone. The woman you thought would stand by you forever, she's nowhere to be found. Even your own family doubts whether you'll ever recover. And you're left staring at yourself in the mirror, not recognizing the person staring back. This moment, right here, is what I call the graveyard of the living. It's the place where most men die spiritually long before they die physically. They stop dreaming. They stop fighting. They surrender their potential in exchange for comfort, distraction, and excuses. But if you are listening to my voice right now, then maybe, just maybe, you're not ready to stay buried. Because rising is not about waiting for life to get easier. It's about deciding that the pain itself will become your fuel. Listen to me, pain is not your enemy. Pain is the teacher the world refuses to listen to. While comfort whispers lies, pain screams truth. It tells you what needs to change. It points directly at the weakness inside you and demands growth. And the man who learns to carry pain without breaking is the man who becomes unstoppable. Do you think legends were built in luxury? Do you think warriors were shaped in comfort? No. They were broken, abandoned, mocked, stripped of everything. And still, they chose to rise. They stared at the ruins of their life and whispered, "This will not be my end." And then they built greatness out of ashes. And that is exactly what you must do. When the world thinks you're finished, you must learn the art of silence. Not everything deserves your explanation. Not every insult requires your defense. Stop wasting your breath trying to convince people of your worth. They won't believe you until they see it. So stop talking and start building. Build in silence. Heal in silence. Train in silence. And when the time comes, let your results speak louder than every doubt thrown against you. Remember, this silence is not weakness. Silence is power. Because while they mock you, you're sharpening your sword. While they laugh, you're building your armor. While they sleep, you're awake, turning your pain into preparation. The world doesn't expect you to rise, and that's your advantage. Because there is nothing more dangerous than the man who was counted out, yet chose to return stronger than ever. But let me be real with you. Rising is not a cinematic moment. It's not fireworks, it's not applause, it's not instant glory. It's lonely nights when you don't believe in yourself. It's mornings when your body begs you to stay in bed, but you rise anyway. It's working while no one claps, training while no one notices, sacrificing while no one thanks you. Rising is a daily choice, not a single event. You will fall again, you will break again, but every time you get up, the ground remembers the weight of your steps. Every time you stand after falling, your enemies tremble, even if they don't show it. Because deep down, they realize nothing can bury a man who refuses to stay down. I want you to picture something right now. Imagine you are climbing a mountain in total darkness. The rocks are sharp, the wind is brutal, and every step feels like it might be your last. People at the bottom are laughing, pointing, shouting, "You'll never make it. You're done." And part of you wants to let go, to fall, to finally be free of the struggle. But then, something inside whispers, one more step, just one more. And so you climb. Bloody hands, broken spirit, trembling legs. And still, you climb. Then, suddenly, the first light of dawn cuts through the darkness, and you realize the world was wrong. You're not finished. You're only beginning. That's the reality of rising. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens step by step, bruise by bruise, tear by tear. and only those who keep moving through the storm get to see the sun rise. Let me tell you a secret most people will never understand. The most dangerous man is not the one who has never been broken. The most dangerous man is the one who has been shattered into pieces and rebuilt himself stronger, sharper, and wiser than before. That man doesn't fear loss, because he has already lost everything. He doesn't fear failure, because he has already failed and risen again. He doesn't fear death, because he has already died in the eyes of the world, and still, he breathes. That man is you if you choose to be. So let them doubt you. Let them write you off. Let them say you're finished. Because when you rise, not only will you prove them wrong, you'll inspire the ones secretly watching you. Because trust me, someone out there needs your example. Someone is waiting to see if you'll quit or fight. And when they see you rise, they'll believe they can rise too. That's how your story becomes bigger than yourself. That's how your pain becomes purpose. That's how your scars become a map for others lost in the same darkness. So hear me now. If you are broken, rise. If you are abandoned, rise. If you are doubted, rise. And do it not just to silence the world, but to awaken yourself. To remind your soul of what you were always capable of. This is your climb. This is your fire. This is the moment you decide that being finished is no longer an option, because you were never finished. And then comes the moment, the one no one prepared you for, the silence after the storm. You wake up one day and realize the voices that once laughed at you are gone. The people who doubted you have vanished into their own failures. The ones who thought you would stay broken, they don't matter anymore, because you are still standing. You are still here. You are still breathing. And that means you are not finished. Life has a way of making you feel like you're trapped in permanent darkness. But the truth is, the darkness was never there to bury you. It was there to shape you. Every tear, every heartbreak, every rejection, every sleepless night, they were not signs of your weakness. They were the flames forging you into something unrecognizable. The pain wasn't killing you. It was preparing you. Preparing you for the rise that no one saw coming. Understand this: the world doesn't celebrate people who quit. The world doesn't honor those who stayed down. The world remembers the ones who rose when everyone swore it was impossible. That's how legacies are written. That's how warriors are made. That's how ordinary men and women become legends. Think about the greatest stories ever told. They're not about the man who had everything handed to him. They're not about the woman who lived in comfort all her life. They are about the ones who were struck down, ridiculed, betrayed, forgotten, left for dead, but stood up anyway. That is the story worth telling. And that, my friend, can be your story too. So here is the truth you cannot ignore. When the world thinks you're finished, that is the perfect time to rise. Because now, no one expects it. No one sees it coming. And that means your victory will be even greater. Your rise will shock them. Your comeback will silence them. Your success will destroy every lie they ever told about you. But listen closely, this isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving them wrong. This is about proving yourself right. This is about finally looking in the mirror and saying, I never gave up on you. I carried you through hell. I dragged you through the fire, and now, look at you. You survived. You're alive. You're unstoppable. You see, life's greatest gift is not comfort. It's not ease. It's not safety. Life's greatest gift is the chance to fight back. The chance to rise after you've fallen. The chance to rebuild when everything has been destroyed. That is the gift the world tried to take from you, but couldn't. And here's the life lesson you must burn into your soul: the world will always doubt you. The world will always push you down. The world will always whisper, you're finished. But what defines you is not the whispers of the world. It's the roar inside your chest that says, I'm not done yet. So rise. Even if your legs shake, even if your hands tremble, even if your voice cracks when you speak, rise anyway, because the only true failure is staying down when life knocks you down. One day, they will ask you, how did you do it? How did you rise when everyone thought you were finished? And you'll smile, not because it was easy, not because it was painless, but because you refused to surrender. You chose to rise when quitting would have been easier. You chose to rise when the world buried you in doubt. You chose to rise when no one believed you could. That is your power. That is your story. And that is your destiny. So remember this, burn it into your heart forever. When the world thinks you're finished, that is the very moment you begin. That is when you rise. That is when your legend is born. And when that day comes, when you stand tall in the place where they swore you'd never rise again, let the silence of your victory echo, louder than any words they ever spoke against you. Because you are not finished. You are never finished. You are only beginning. You are only being prepared.